Hello YouTube family, and welcome to the Real Talk with Earica Cole. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I've shared with you guys before, prior to becoming an entrepreneur, I worked in the financial industry for almost 18 years. And so I worked from every aspect: branch operations, lending, sales and service, consumer lending, mortgage lending, you name it. But the most near and dear to my heart was training and development. That gave me the opportunity to not only train customers and our staff, but also educate my family and friends about the value of credit. I learned a lot of lessons, life lessons throughout that period of time. Let me just tell you, this is one of the things that I really truly wish was more engaging in our educational system. What about the responsibilities as credit? I don't know about you, but I to this day have never used A plus B equals C. But I know understanding my finances, understanding the importance of monitoring my debt to income ratio, understanding what makes up the credit score, real life activities. And so what I want to do is take a few minutes and talk to you guys about understanding your credit score. Now listen, what I need everybody to understand, regardless of what you've done in the past is the past. Forgive yourself. A lot of times what we do as human beings is we beat ourselves up. I don't know about you, but I've made mistakes before, right? I have made poor financial decisions. I made poor investment decisions. I made poor life decisions. But guess what? Every time I made one of those poor decisions, I learned something from it. And what I did is I took the opportunity to better myself for the future. So again, I'm going to share some tips for you guys regarding the 5 factors that build the credit report. And we're going to go over each and every one of those factors. I'm going to give you a minute while you grab some pen and paper. Again, the 5 factors that make up the credit score. Number 1, the most important part of the credit score, the highest factor, is paying your creditors on time. 35% of your score is based off of your payment history. What does that mean? What's considered a payment? Things like paying your car notes, paying your mortgage, paying your credit card, even paying your student loans if it's that time. Things like that that are found on your credit report are very important that you pay those within a timely manner. What does timely manner mean to the credit bureau? You must make your payment within 30 days. Listen, I gotta make you guys understand that, because a lot of times our creditors will give us a grace period to make a payment. And when you have a grace period to make a payment, that's cool. Maybe you can't pay your payment on the 5th and they say, you know what, we'll give you 10 days grace period, or we'll give you 15 days grace period. And if you don't pay it within that grace period, they charge you a late fee. That's fine as well. But what you don't want to do is say, you know what, I'm going to skip this month and I'll double up next month. That is a huge hit to your credit report. So try to get all of your payments done on your credit report paid within 30 days. So very important, okay? So make sure, again, look at your credit report, see all of the creditors that are listed there and say, how do I make sure that I pay these guys within 30 days, okay? So that's number 1. The second credit factor is capacity of debt. That is, how much are you spending versus your limits. So very important. Many times people think that they are quote unquote maxed out on their credit report when they're tapped out to the limit, or when they're even over the limit. You're actually maxed out anytime you're using over 30% of what's available on your credit card. Definitely, if you can stay at 20%, that's great, but you don't want to exceed 30% of your limit. What does that mean? So if your limit is $1,000 on a credit report, then you want to make sure that you don't spend over $300, at least if you're going out to buy and purchase new credit, because that's having a great impact on your score. So again, 30% of the limit. Now, let's say that your AC unit goes out, you got $1,000 limit on your credit card, and your AC unit costs $600. Yeah, that's over your 30% or your 20% capacity. Understood. Do what you need to do and handle your business. But be mindful. If you're anticipating having your credit pull within the next 60 days, 30 to 60 days, you want to get that balance down to that 30%, okay? So make sure you don't have your credit pulled. Let me tell you something. What I really learned about all of this as I spent 12 years in training and development and sales and service, educating people on this, is the more you know, the more you grow. You can learn these skills and make sure you play this game right. Many people use their credit cards for points. You know, you can use your credit cards for rewards. Some people use their credit cards and say, I'm going to use my credit cards because I'm trying to build my credit. But if you're doing something that, you got to pay those bills off the next month. Or again, if you're planning on buying a car in a couple months, you want to make sure that you get that limit down, that balance down on that limit to at least 30%, no more than that, okay? So learn how to play this game. Timing is everything. So again, 35% of your score is based off of your payment history. 30% of your score is based off of your capacity of debt on your credit cards and all of your lines of credits that you have available. So keep that in mind, okay? Now, the next thing is 15% of your score is based off of your length of credit. Write that down. Length of credit, 15% of your score. Many of us have things like car payments, or you have a mortgage. Of course, you're going to have those loans for 30 years, 15 years, 5 years for a vehicle. So those are good lengthy credit lines on your credit report. That's great. But one of the things that I know a lot of consumers mess up is when you go and let's say that you have a credit card and you've had it for years and you're finally like, you know what? I'm going to be debt free. I'm going to pay off that credit card. What do? We close it. That has a tremendous hit on your credit file. It not only hurts your length of credit, but it also hurts that capacity that we just talked about. You no longer have a limit to be calculated. So keep that in mind. Even though you have those credit cards or those older loans that you have out there, should you close them? Absolutely not, okay? You want to utilize those credit cards, pull it out every now and then, buy some gas, buy some groceries, pay it off, because you want to make sure that the creditor doesn't automatically close the account. A lot of times when credit isn't used for 6 months or longer, some credit card companies, it will automatically just close the account, okay? So to prevent that, again, just put that credit card in use every now and then so that, again, your length of credit can be extended, okay? So keeping that in mind, 5 years is a great length of credit score, okay? And that's 15% of your score, so keeping that in mind. The next one we're going to talk about is 10% is what's called mix of credit. A lot of times people say, you know what? I don't want any credit cards, or I don't have any debt. Well, you know, I've had people that have come to me and they're ready to purchase a home or they're ready to purchase a car. And when I pull their credit, their score is low. And they're thinking, how is it low? I don't have any credit. That is why your score is low. Credit isn't a bad thing. It's how you use your credit. And understanding how the credit score is made can help you beat the system. It can help you manipulate your number and work towards that goal of having that high 700 or high 800 score so that you get lower interest rates. You get better deals. You get lower payments. You get whatever you want. That's tied to your name. And so again, we're forgiving the past and we're moving forward for the future. So 10% mix of credit. You want to have some what's called lines of credit, your credit cards. You want to have some secured loans like your mortgages and your car loans. You want to have a little bit of everything on there, okay? But again, paying attention to those other 4 factors to ensure that your credit score stays healthy. The last of the 5 factors is 10% of your score is based off of how often you have your credit pulled. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, if you're one that's always looking for the best deal, how many of you have gone to the counter and you're shopping at a retail store and they say, hey, you want to apply for a credit card and we'll give you 20% off today? And you're like, sure, I'll take it. And you go to the next store, sure, I'll take it. Within a matter of 24 hours, you can have your credit pulled 4 times. That can be a significant hit to your credit score. Listen, you want to be very attentive. Rule of thumb is try not to have your credit pulled more than 3 times a year. If you're out looking for a home, a lot of the bureaus, what they do is they take a look at the fact that you are housing. You know, it'll come up in the trade lines, and that's connected to the types of lenders, okay? So they know that if you're looking for housing and you're having your credit score pulled by multiple lenders, they'll count that as one hit. So that's a good thing. But if you already know that you're not going to buy a home until, you know, let's say 6 months from now, don't go having your credit pulled now, because that's going to impact your score, okay? And it typically takes anywhere from 6 months to a year for that score to bounce back for some of those type of hits, okay? Now, when you pull your credit, when you go and you apply for a job and they pull your credit, there's something called a soft hit and there's a hard hit. Anything that's a soft hit is a soft inquiry. It doesn't hurt your score. So anytime you pull your credit or you use these different credit monitoring services, those do not impact your score. It's when you're out actually looking for those trade lines. Remember, those institutions that the credit bureau recognizes that you're actually trying to get credit. If you're out opening a savings account or a checking account, that doesn't hurt your score. Again, loans. Those are the things that the credit bureau is looking for. It's tying that trade line number to the loans. And so be cautious of that when you're having your credit pull. Again, those are the 5 factors that make up the credit score. Number 1, 35% is paying your debtors on time. Number 2, 30% is about having your limit as far as your balances, making sure that it doesn't exceed 30%. 20% is a better number. But again, if you need to use that credit, go ahead and do it. But wait before you have your credit pulled if you're out trying to do something big, okay? And then 15%, your length of credit. 5 years, and it does actually an average. So 5 years is a healthy length of credit number that you're looking for. Number 4 is mix of credit. Again, having a little bit of unsecured, having a little secured lines of credit, a little mixture out there. And then lastly, how often do you have your credit pulled? 10%. So that is what 100% makes up your score. I want to debunk all of the things out there about it's where you live, it's your nationality, it's how you grew up. None of that impacts your score. Regardless of your nationality, regardless of your sexual origin, regardless of where you live, if you master these numbers that I gave you, your score can have a tremendous increase within a matter of months. Next week, I'll be talking about some tips of how to improve your credit once you master this program. See you soon.